Again because I forgot to unmute. Welcome everyone. I'm going to try this again without the mute button because yeah, that's not really helpful for live streams. But welcome everyone to another Casual Conversations with Comic Creators episode. This is episode 40. We've hit episode 40 of this, and this is the Maya Matter Show, where each month I speak to a different comic creator about their journey, or journeys in this case, and what goes into the craft of making comics. So it's all about showcasing the human being behind the art as we discover each person's story. And I am the Maya Matter co-founder, Nigel, and today I am speaking with Greg and Lucia, or KitsuneArt, aka, and they are both contributing to the new anthology from WIP Comics, which is a UK community of independent comic creators. So you're both in London, right?
Yeah. I mean, I'm London based.
Yeah. Okay, so both London. So yeah, Greg is an illustrator and comic creator, blending musical passion with comics. And Lucia is a queer comic artist, and work has appeared in Hellbound Media, Third Bear Press, and exhibitions across Italy, the UK, and the US. And yeah, like I said, we're going to be talking about them individually, but also the new work that is coming from WIP Comics. So how are you both doing? Let's start there.
Ladies first.
I'm good. Yeah, it's going great. So hello everyone.
Cool.
Yeah, it's been a busy September, but like, yeah, as always. So
yeah,
it's good. It's
okay.
good.
How about yourself, Greg?
Yeah, no, doing well, man. Like, just it's been a really busy summer. It's been a bit crazy between sort of doing fairs, trying to release a new comic, which I managed to do in July, and then sort of like just going to a lot of gigs and seeing a lot of music, which is my main inspiration in life for what I do.
That's you.
Nice. Okay. All right. We're gonna dig into that, but yeah, I wanted to guess because you both know each other. We determined this before we started going live.
Yeah,
so
we met at an event a couple of years ago that one of the other WIP members organised. Was like a drawing.
Yeah, drink and draw.
Drink and draw. Yeah.
Oh, was that the one at Gosh Comics?
No, it was the one organised with WIP Comics. So we're just like,
it was a different venue. I think it was just like a random event that we kind of like Claudia, one of the members
in the group. Yeah, Claudia is one of the.
Oh, okay, because I know
she was organizing that.
Yeah, I know.
No, but it's also the one in Gosh.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
It's finally back after the pandemic. So
okay,
I think there is one at the end of the month.
Yeah,
26th, I think.
Nice. So yeah, because usually when we do these, I speak to like one other creator. So this is the second time I've spoken to two creators at the same time. So I'm going to try and balance between you both. But always interesting to know like where people's paths cross. So you've ticked that box for me. Thank you very much. And and do you want to start by describing like what kind of like comics you make? Like take us into that a bit more. Greg, we can start with you because I know you've got a lot of experience in terms of like creativity in the creative industries. Where did you find yourself coming to comics?
Yes, I mean, well, I won't bore your audience with my 20-odd year creative journey. But yeah, I mean, I basically started as a web designer developer back in like the early 2000s. So I'm showing my age a little bit there. And effectively sort of over those 20 years, just like went from being sort of a senior designer at a creative agency, then a creative director at a startup, and then finally went freelance about 12 years ago, just doing my own thing. But in the process of doing that, I've kind of had personal projects during those 10 years.
Yeah.
And sort of the pandemic hit, and I was like, well, I really don't have much to do. So I was like, well, maybe I could sort of, I had this story kind of in the back of my head since sort of the early, like 2011 or 2015. I started writing this story. I was like, oh, it's just, a side thing. And 2020, I was like, well, maybe I should put that to good use. And I'd sort of done these little illustrations, and a lot of my friends were like, "Oh, are they all part of the same universe?" And I'd never really thought about it that way before. And I was like, "Well, maybe I could make some sort of story based on that." And then I made sort of a trailer and a logo in 2020. Started sort of like making sort of the beginnings of an origin story, and just sort of posted a panel a day on social media. And then I went to WIP basically in 2023, met people at WIP. I had like a digital comic, like a scrolly one, and I was like, "Oh, look at my scrolly comic," and everybody had like physical ones, so I felt very out of place. I was like, "Oh, I don't actually have a physical comic." And then they convinced me, sort of like, they were very, very nice all the same, Claudia and a few other people, but they convinced me to make like a printed version, so I made a printed version, and that's kind of how it all sort of began. I contributed to the anthology the last 2 years, and this year as well.
Nice. Yeah, no, I should also say this is a bit of a WIP takeover week, because we've had two other members of the WIP community on our podcast. So that episode is coming out. What day is it today? Wednesday. Tomorrow. So tomorrow, as we record and stream this live, and then we've got Greg and Lucia here. So yeah, I think when I first like met some of the people from WIP and just what you're collectively doing in terms of that whole work in progress, right? It's like giving people a place to kind of show their work and make progress, because that can be the hardest part. You get to, I think we spoke on the podcast episode where you get to a point, or was it the episode, or it's something that comes up where you start with enthusiasm and then you get to a point, it's like, why did I do this? This is rubbish. This is the worst thing ever. And it can be quite hard to get through that. And I think if you've got other people with you, it makes it easier, like, oh, other people feel this isn't completely unique, and then you can help each other through. So yeah, I mean, Lucia, how about yourself, because you're coming from a different country altogether. So how long have you been making comics, and how did you get into it?
I've started, like, I'm from Italy originally, so I've started back in Italy doing like comics by my own, and just like doing small courses just to learn, how to do the things. And especially like I come from the Northeast, so from Treviso, Conegliano, that area near Venice. Okay. and there is a comic festival that is every September, every last weekend of September. It's called Lucca is the biggest one, but that one is in end of October. Okay. This one is more like on indie comics and more like maybe specified really on comics more than cosplays and all kind of gaming or whatever. That is more Lucca. And this one is called Treviso Comic Book Festival. So I get like in the organization with them. So I did some exhibitions, I did more stuff. I also had one of my comic pages exhibited at the Japan Palace in Lucca Comics. And then at some point I decided I wanted to just, I was fed up of my life in Italy, like not for the comics, but just like because it's really like working culture, especially in my region, is not really the best. Okay. So
I'm not sure it's great in London either.
I honestly, I come from a small town, so I was like, let's see how it is.
You wanted
abroad.
More. It wasn't enough for you.
Basically, I wanted to try, also to live more. To have more time to do my art, and just like having a more like a place where there is more to do that. And also I came with my partner.
More opportunities.
And my partner is a guitarist, so also he wanted just like also do things with music. So we were just like So we did 1 year of university, and then we found both partner jobs here. And also I started honestly publishing physical comics, like small press comics. I started here in London because honestly I've seen that the small press community here is so wholesome, like in the UK. So I've been really lucky like to meet the guys of WIP, and then also meet more comic artists of the small press scene. And it's been like a very, very cool journey. So my comics are more like on queer themes, so LGBTQ stuff. I mean, mostly like love stories, but I like
Okay.
also to give like the emotional stuff. And yeah, and I'm working for trying to finish a small comic as well for Thought Bubble. So
Oh
finger
yeah.
crossed it's gonna be
Okay.
able to
So you got
finish
like
that in time.
a month, not to put any
Exactly. No,
pressure.
yeah, it's already in the
on you.
works. So yeah, I'm hoping
Okay.
to finish. It's gonna be a short story, so standalone one-off comic. So
Okay.
one shot comic. So yeah, should be good.
Cool. All
And
right.
also, yeah, we have
I look forward to seeing what you end up with at Thought Bubble. I'll come
yeah.
see you.
So
Yeah.
cool. And
Yeah.
there's also gonna be WIP Comic with their own stall. So, and we're gonna have the new anthology available at Thought Bubble. So check
Nice.
that out as well.
Yeah, no, we're definitely going to dive into the anthology. I'm just curious on just on the conventions, because I think Greg, you also mentioned you've been doing a lot of fairs and things.
I
Yeah.
started last year. I started
Yeah.
last year, and I kind of got WIP actually really helped me sort of like give me some ideas as to what I should be doing and sort of what the process is. So yeah, last year I started, and it's a lot of work again, and it's quite tough initially because you're kind of an unknown person. So it's building that audience and building sort of that this is this person who does this. So it's a lot of work, but yeah, I managed to get in Thought Bubble this year for the first time, which I can't wait.
Oh, nice. Oh,
Congrats.
so you're both at Thought Bubble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah, cool. We're all at Thought Bubble. There we go.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We're gonna meet there.
Nice. And also, by the way, hello, Neos Whites in the chat. Yeah, feel free to ask any questions of our guests as well. I might get to no guarantees. Actually, I should have that disclaimer if I see it.
No
But yeah, no.
If I
Put that
see
in
it.
there. Yeah. But I was just thinking about events. So I had this because I having conversations not just in comics, but I think it applies here about like in-person events and like the value of them. So I recently went to Germany for Gamescom, like massive games event. Spent a lot of time in the indie area there, and I'm just talking to people about what's the value, because obviously we can reach people online. Like, what do you find is like what's the value of like coming to events like Thought Bubble, like some of the fairs that you do? What do you get from them?
Honestly, I think it's the best thing because like doing things online can be very isolating and also hit or miss because like you don't have control on the algorithm. You don't have control if people are gonna see your stuff. And maybe if you're unlucky, you're just like, okay, what I'm doing is not great enough. It's not worth it, blah, blah, blah. And you get into this, like, I feel like, honestly, social medias are made to make you feel miserable.
I think actually literally that is what gets the most engagement.
The good thing about doing events is just like, okay, it's scary at the beginning because maybe you're like, oh my God, as Greg said, like, oh, nobody knows me, so maybe nobody's going to care for me. But what I realized, especially here in the UK, is just people really loves to come to convention and to do the artist alley or just like even the comic specific ones. And they're very open. So really they like to check your stuff. And I've seen also compared like to Italy that maybe like people are more picky. Like they're like, oh, if I don't know who you are, like I'm not really willing to spend my money to buy your comic. But here I see that people is really more like they don't care if you are not famous. Like they're like, oh, I like your stuff. Like I like your drawings. I like the idea that you have of this comic. I'm gonna buy it. So it's really like rewarding because not even for the monetary aspect, but less thinking that somebody's just like taking your things and like that you pour your soul into it and people are like willing to take it. And it's especially super cool when people maybe come back to your store maybe 1 year after and they're like, oh, I read your comic. I'm here for the new one. Or just like, hi. And you're like, oh my God, thank you. Like, it's always something so like at the end of every convention or every fair, like it can be super tiring, but you go home with your heart full and you're like, okay, so I'm doing something that is resonated with people and I want to do it. I want to keep doing it because at the end of the day, especially doing comics, you do it for yourself, but you do it because you want to tell a story and you want people to resonate with the story and just like read it. So I feel like having like the face-to-face aspect, especially now with AI and when all the like things that is becoming so impersonal, or so you don't know if it's real, what is not, like the face-to-face value, and it's even more important for me now. Like I really feel like I want to do more conventions.
Yeah, you value it, even though it's
more than doing things
human
online.
connection, I think, isn't it? It's the human connection. It's like that's what I found when I started, was like, oh, this is like a real person who's coming over, and then having people point and go, oh, I really like that, or oh, that's really awesome, look at that, you know, and tell their friends like in hushed tones, and you're like, I can hear what you're saying, or like even from a distance.
Yeah.
People think if you're behind the table that you can't hear them. It's like soundproof.
So it's just like it's so cool to see, like, because you spend so long on the comic, and you spend like, I spent 1.5 years on my newest one. So to finally kind of release it is very cathartic, and then to see people's sort of emotions when they read a bit of it, or they see the artwork, they see the cover or whatever, it's like, it's priceless. It's completely priceless. You can't put a price on it.
I feel that. Well, I do. It's a big sticker on it. It's on the table. But I get I get your point. It's because you made a point, Lucia, about like people coming back. I remember like a couple thought bubble stories. There was one, I think it was the first thought bubble after the pandemic. Because it must have been, because we did a story about a pandemic, and then it was ready. So it must have been 2021 or whatever the first one after. And I remember the first person that came to the table, at least I remember, was one of the backers of the Kickstarter, and he came over because I hadn't sent them out yet. So it's like, oh yeah, this is a new book, but I'm not going to get it because I backed the Kickstarter, so I'm going to wait for that. And it was like, I remember it because, to your point, it was like, you make this thing and it's very isolating, and even more so in that time.
In that period,
and it was like, and it was like someone's going to read this. So I should probably send these out now. But is that kind of thing. And then the second story is there's a family who, for at least 3 different thought bubbles, I've been to a few, and they always come to the table. And it's like so mum, dad, daughter, and for some reason the mum and the daughter always come, and then the dad comes afterwards. But and then they'll just like look at everything, and because it had been a while since we done a new comic, like, because whatever that pandemic one was, between then and this year when we released our next manga, we haven't had anything new, but they've got everything. So they're like, they go through and say, oh, there's nothing new. I'm like, still working on stuff. It's like, okay, we'll be back.
Also the thing,
time.
When you don't have anything new, you're like, oh my God, I need to do something different because people are waiting for it. So you're like, oh my God.
It's a good motivator.
I
had one person come back, but they said, oh, I haven't finished reading the other one yet. I won't get this one just yet. And I was like, it's not that big a comic. It's only like, how long is it going to take you to read? It's very small. So I think they'd actually possibly forgotten to read.
Sometimes you have a pile of things that you want to read, and you're like, I'm going to read it. And then
I didn't take offense, but I was just like, okay.
It
was cool to see somebody who came back and was like actively like saying, what's this?
Like they remember. Do you ever get the thing where, actually this is another thought bubble story where I had someone get a comic, and this was like 120 pages. It was fairly decent size, not massive. And then like an hour later, he said, I finished it. It was great. And I was like, that's cool.
Wow.
But also, this took me like 2 years to make. You've read it all in an hour. You could have like pretended and just
honestly, when you realize that you spent ages to do it, and then in 10 minutes people can read it, you're like, okay.
It's done. But I guess it's the nature of things, right? You go to a film and you watch a film for an hour and a half, or 3 hours if you're Marvel, but then that took like years to make, and there's a weird relationship with it. But okay. So, and how would you say like you've found the process of being involved with the WIP Anthology? So for people that don't know, WIP, or Work in Progress Comics, are this collective, as I mentioned earlier, and each year, I think this is the 8th year, right? Each year there's an anthology. So you bring together what have you got, 60 plus creatives, according to a theme, and then the theme this year is infinity, or an 8 if you put it down.
Yeah,
I guess I
never-ending
imagine that's
cycles.
It's the 8th anthology. That's why we went with infinity.
Yeah.
infinity. Yeah,
It was kind of perfect, really, in some ways.
yeah.
Also, yeah, we vote every year for a team, so it's just like we do a poll.
Oh, I didn't
and
know
we
that. There's a
vote
vote.
too many. Yeah.
Oh, look at that. Democracy. Cool. So there's like
Yeah.
a short list of things.
Yeah,
and then
exactly. People
okay,
can
okay.
think about themes, and then we say, okay, these are the themes that we have. Which one do you like best? And then democracy wins.
There you go. All right, cool.
It's usually at
I
the
didn't
beginning
know
of year,
that.
January or whatever, and then. But yeah, I mean, I think it was like a landslide. I think everyone was like, right, infinity.
Makes
or
sense.
Rubberus or whatever. We had like 3. I think it was from Infinity or Rubberus was basically the same thing.
Yeah.
And we were just
Yeah,
like,
we
this
incorporated
is it.
everything in
There
that.
can't be anything else, right? This is it. You know, it makes perfect sense with the number 8 and everything.
Cool. And what's that process like for you? Because it's, and there's different ways to make comics. So, like for us, for example, and I guess for your own works too, it's you making it. So like I'm a writer and we have an illustrator on our team, and then particularly for our latest one, we've got some young artists that have done like concept art, things like that. So it's like part creative and writing, and the part management of the process. But it's all like a Maya Mada story. But in your case, you've got just different people. Obviously, you know each other, but different people contributing. What's that process like?
Yeah, I mean, because some people are just like writers who then bring an artist in. Lucia and me, we both. I think you make your own stories as well, don't you, Lucia? You write and illustrate, same as me.
Yeah.
We do the whole thing, which is a lot of work when it's just one person doing it all. But yeah, no, I feel like I mean, this year we've tried to have like milestones where like, you have a check-in. You say, this is where I'm up to. Here's some rough sketches where we'll get feedback on the Discord and WIP. People will chip in with ideas, which is really cool. And that's kind of one of the reasons I joined WIP was like, it's very, like we were mentioning before, it's very isolating to kind of just be on this journey on your own. So when you have other people around you on a similar journey and you get people encouraging you or supporting you or giving you ideas, it's so valuable, honestly, it really is.
Yeah, I mean, we have the deadlines, like small deadlines, and then the hard deadline when you have to deliver the things. And also, since we are getting like every year there is more of us, it's just like you have a deadline also to kind of say, okay, I want to be in the anthology. That's why we had like 60, 60, I think, for this year. And then if you still want to contribute, you can, but we're going to do like a digital version that you can with add-ons.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the only thing. But for the rest,
You have to get in very quickly. Like, I think I did it like, as soon as they put the poll up, as soon as they put the form on to say, right, do you want to be in the anthology? I was like, right, straight away in.
Yeah.
Boom. Because otherwise, because it goes so quickly, and then that's it. You don't get to contribute, so it's quite.
Yeah, but also can be that some people maybe cannot do it anymore. So we have kind of a wait list. So if somebody say, listen, I cannot do it because I'm not going to be able to make it, then somebody can take the place on these kind of things. Yeah. Also, to be honest, since we are a lot, like this year, like the limit is just like 1 or 2 pages maximum for your comic.
Right. What was it before?
And before we could have even 4 pages, I think. At some point, because we were less, but we wanted to give as much space to everyone to participate. So, and the thing also is that I think it's a cool thing because it makes you really like, it's a challenging thing that we had to use maximum 8 panels. So it could be like either 4 or 4, just like divided into 2 pages, or 8 panels in 1 page. So that's also difficult and challenging to say, okay, I need to do a story that have to be in maximum 8 panels.
Yeah, that's tough.
That's tough.
It's quite good because it does challenge you, and you sort of like, you start to think a bit more outside the box. So I think it wasn't until like about April or May I had my idea finally, because I was like, oh, what am I going to do? I have no idea. The deadline's ticking onwards. I don't know. Where are your sketches? I haven't got any. I haven't even got an idea yet.
And also it's cool because like you could also challenge yourself on the paneling. Like it doesn't have to be like the normal squares or rectangles. Like the one that I did this year is really like experimental. So that's why I also cannot really show much, because it's just like it's going to be a spread page in 2 pages. So
Sure.
I've seen it. It looks really cool. Very cool.
it's cool because also it's a place where you can experiment things that maybe you are don't want to do for your own comics because you're like, maybe, I don't know, that doesn't work, but it's like, let's try and see how it goes. Yeah.
And
do
you find?
And I think it's cool.
Yeah, because Greg, you've done multiple, and then
It's my third one. Yeah.
Third one, and then
Yeah, third one for me as well.
third one. Okay, so you both. So
Yeah.
what do you find is the major difference now between this one and others, if any, like either in terms of like the process or you personally as creators having now been more familiar with the process? Do you find that it helps? Like how have you found it this year, or is it just the same? Sometimes you can just go in a cycle. And
this one for me was a bit easier. I felt like, even though it took me ages to get the idea, I actually got it together very quickly. Mainly because I had an idea. I already had like a story I wanted to tell. What I tend to do with the WIP stuff, which I absolutely love, is like I have like lots of ideas, lots of stories, and I'm like, well, I'm too busy working on my main comic. Oh, but this idea would be really cool. So what I tend to do is I bring that idea into WIP, make the comic for WIP, and then I can kind of reuse that later, if you know what I mean, for my own story.
Oh, okay, so like a feedback loop, like a
sort of like
infinity
loop.
I see what you did.
Oh, there you go. You see, yeah. So it's like these characters and stuff I produce for the WIP comics and the stories, I then take because they're all part of my universe, if you know what I mean. Like, so in some ways it's kind of like, you know, I can then release a comic of my own, which is bigger, with like, you know, those characters and stories, etc. So it's kind of like I'm almost like a testing sort of thing to try and test and see how it goes, kind of thing.
Yeah, I get that. And when it comes to the number of creators, because as you said, I think it's more than 60, but like that many creators, do you find is it more important to stand out or fit in? How do you approach that?
I think the cool thing is just like everybody can do their own thing. Like we are not really like judgmental, just like you have to do this kind of stuff, you have to do, like, it's open to as various kind of comics as possible. Like there is no a certain genre that you have to do, like within reason. Like of course you cannot do racist things or just like, you know, the usual normal stuff that nobody wants.
Yeah,
but like for the
well,
rest,
you say
the
usual now.
Now it's not usual anymore. That's true.
It is worth
but
mentioning.
Like, the thing they're supposed to be the usual, the standard. But yeah, I mean, I think like I never feel the pressure to say, oh my God, I need to do things in a certain way. And that's also what is cool about WIP Comics, that it's very open to any idea. Like nothing is like, oh no, this is not the right way. Everybody has his own way to do the stuff. And it's cool also to see what other people come up with, because you're like, oh, that's cool. Like maybe a cool paneling or a cool story. You're like, oh wow, that's something that I would never thought of it. So
do you ever see something and go like, I wish I thought
sort of like,
the
only rules like the format and the number of panels and things like that, and that's kind of like the only rule, and the theme, and that's the only rule, and then it's open to interpretation. Because what's really cool is then you end up with like such a diverse array of styles and you know, art types and stuff. I mean, it's just like, honestly, when you get the thing in your hands, you're like, wow, there's just such a diversity of creativity.
I know, I've got the change one, and then I don't know why I don't. I was saying this before. I should bring next time. I'm going to bring comics.
We have it.
There you go. Okay, cool.
We both have it.
We have it.
I'm never prepared. There you go. All right,
always to hand.
Yes.
And soon infinity as well, obviously.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. No, that's really good. And for your
it's also funny because like every year we do something different also in terms of format, because like this year
I noticed
we decided to go with a square format. So like last year we were a lot, so we decided to do 2 books, and it was just like
different
like
shapes.
one is tall, and one is short, and they go together as well with the cover. And it's nice because like this one is like, if it's a scrolling comic, like this one. It was mine, and then this one instead is just like opening like this. So it's also fun to do the things like with the different form.
Yeah,
Definitely.
because you had like a newspaper-ish one.
Yeah, there was also one that was a newspaper, but this one
Yeah.
I think I didn't. I wasn't in the group yet.
Okay, before your
same.
time. Before your
I think
time.
we both joined. We must have both
Exactly.
joined around the same time then, right?
Yeah. I think I missed the one before Change because I think I joined when they were already like finalizing that, and then
2023, I think it was, but right? 2023.
Yeah.
That's when Change came out. Yeah.
Nice.
And shout out to Claudia Matosa, who came up with the awesome cover that interconnects.
Yeah,
that's
really
Claudia.
Cool. That is cool.
Yeah.
See, I don't. Let's see if we can.
You don't have the other one. Yeah, join the
I think we are on the other side.
It doesn't really work.
Yeah.
I have got my short
both,
stories
so you
over
can
there
see it.
somewhere. So it looks better on there.
That's cool.
So she came up with this awesome cover, which is like, I mean,
very nice.
I think I saw sort of her work in progress, how she was making it and stuff, like her sketches, like really awesome. So yeah, she's great.
Yeah, no, that's cool. And when it comes to like just making comics, just in general for WIP, for your own things, like being both able to do the artwork and the writing, do each of you have a preference for either, or do you find yourself gravitating to one part? So like I can only do one, so it's easy for me, and I can think about the story, and then it's about like managing the process of the illustration. But for you, what do you find yourself like gravitating towards?
For me, probably more the art side, I suppose, because I'm a designer illustrator by trade and developer as well. So it's sort of like I always kind of have like a bit like I think is it Ridley Scott who does like he used to thumbnail everything out first for like his movies. He used to like draw it out, or was it maybe it's James Cameron actually. James Cameron used to like thumbnail everything, and he would like be like, right, this is what I want to do, and that's kind of like in my head. I see it very visually, and then the story kind of like interweaves with that, if you know what I mean. I don't know why. Probably because I'm a designer illustrator by trade first, and then sort of storyteller second. But I'm trying my best to get better at storytelling.
Okay. What about you, Lucia?
Yeah, I think like for me, it's like both are important, and I like to, create the story, but also draw in the story. So I think like honestly, even when I was like what I want to do, and I feel like comics is like the best medium for me because I like writing the story, but at the same time I like drawing as well. So and it feels like being like both the writer and the artist is kind of like being the if you are in a movie, it's just like the director. So like seeing the things like both visually and also the story, and just like going hand in hand, because like at the end of the day, when I decide how to put the panels in the story, blah blah blah, I feeling like if I am a director with a camera, I'm saying, okay, from which angle I wanna draw this thing, like wanna show this thing. So yeah, it feels like being a director, but of course, like I'm more an artist, so I also collaborated with some writers. So if I have to choose between the two, I probably will be more into just drawing the story. But I like also to be involved. So even when in the story, so even when I collaborate with a writer, I also like to do it for hands. Like, okay, we decided the story, we decide to develop the characters. Like I like to have it more like a discussion between us, not like being, okay, this is the story, you just have to do it. Like, I don't.
I couldn't do that either.
It's not something that I enjoy. Like I can do it maybe if the story is amazing and I'm like, oh my god, this is something I would have loved to write myself. So it's perfect for me. But usually I like to have also a hand on the writing part.
Yeah, similar. It's like I'm fairly hands-on as well, and I feel like I know a lot of artists are sort of like, oh, I need a writer. For me, it's like it goes hand in hand. I can't sort of separate the two somehow for myself anyway. I know not everybody's the same, but Lucia's obviously the same. It's very difficult to separate the two because it's obviously some of these stories and stuff are quite personal as well. So you're putting your sort of heart and soul into it. So it's separating the two. I mean, I'd be up for collaborating, like what Lucia was saying. It's like collaborating is great, but just doing the art on its own wouldn't be enough for me either, I think.
Okay, that's interesting because I know, like, so for us we do, because again I'm writing in it, so I'll get like a script and an outline with like supporting stuff in terms of what's going on, who wants what at each moment, and I sort of hand it over. And what's interesting over the years is then, because so I don't do, so I'm not necessarily saying like this panel in that's outside of my expertise anyway. So yeah. So then our illustrator Planny works that out, and then what's cool is, over the years, it's been a case of I will tell a story, and then they will tell a story back to me, and then we work out the details. So that's
the best approach, honestly. I think.
Yeah, it's cool.
I think it's always nice to have a feedback also of from the artists. So just like finding something that's organic. So you're just like, okay, maybe you mean 90% of the story you're gonna write, and which is fine. But like, having also an input from the people that is going to draw the things, I think is also important for the person, because at the end of the day, otherwise it feels like, just doing a job just to do, that you don't have any input. As I said, unless you really like the story, which is fine. Otherwise it feels like,
it feels.
It could even be that it's like if it was some famous, incredible director or whatever, or writer that you really admire.
Of course, there are exceptions.
Would you like to do, I don't know, some new Netflix thing, whatever it is? Maybe that might be something I might do.
I'll shut up and draw now, but
angle the carrot on the stick,
No, but also if somebody is just like giving you a really cool story, you're like, I'm happy to do it, especially if maybe it's something short. It's not just like 300 pages. But it's just like, maybe a one shot, and you're like, I can work on it. So it's good. Like, I'm always happy to collaborate. So it's just like always, as I said, especially if you find someone that is just like open-minded and not just like very dictator, it's cool.
I get that.
There's lots of those out there. Be a bit mindful of those.
Yeah. No, there is,
Can you just move it 2 pixels to the left? That's perfect.
How to spot a dictator.
Art director. Aren't they called art directors?
Art director.
Over there a little
bit.
I joke about it, but I've been there so many times in my career now. I'm just like, I'm just so over it at this point.
Do you find do you carry anything over from your for both of you, from your work into like comics? Because I know for me, because I actually used to be a software engineer long time ago, and I found that even though on the surface these are two just different, so like, I'm gonna not program anymore, I'm gonna go make comics. But what I found with storytelling is quite, or at least from my perspective, is quite structural. Like there's certain aspects to it that work, and you put things together. And then even when you're trying to rework things, it's like trying to, like, because we're working on a project for another organization, and we've got a limited number of pages, and then trying to work out, I'm having to make changes to make it fit and how to make the story. So I find it quite structural. I don't know if you've managed to take anything from past or current work into the comics that you make now.
Yeah, I mean, for me personally speaking, so my comic is basically every single sort of either passion or skill that I currently have, or had at least, is in this, basically, because I started as sort of like designer developer. So I developed an app for my comic, like an augmented reality app. Okay. So you literally like hover over the cover and all the rest of it, and it animates and stuff. So there was like sort of my programming skill I brought into that. Then music is kind of like the theme of my comic. I've played guitar since I was like 16, but like mainly sort of like as a hobby. And so I wrote all the music and put all the music into the comic as well. Wow. The branding, everything, like, because I used to do I've done so many logos in my time for clients and stuff. So it's almost like when I started this project, it was like, right, if I can grab all my skills and put it into one project, what would it be? and just sort of a love of kind of like like manga, comics, anime, and all that stuff. That's like a huge passion of mine. I was like, right, I'm going to put it all together into one package.
Nice.
Like a crazy person that I am.
I was just going to do everything.
That's it. It's like a one-man band, but it's like it's
Yeah.
so much work. But it's like when you're passionate about it, it's like you don't care.
Yeah,
You're sort of like,
that's
yes,
the
it
best
has to
thing.
work. I
Yeah.
have to do it. You know.
Yeah.
That's fun. You know, and actually, before I go into a different thing, is it the same for you, Lucia?
Yeah, I mean, more than like job, because honestly, I think the only thing that probably I can take from my job, because it's totally not something that is artistic, it's just like admin and customer service and this kind of stuff.
Okay.
It's just probably, yeah, the fact of being very methodical and just like able to follow the deadlines and just like saying, okay, I have to do it, I'm gonna do it, like very like the focused and oriented mind to be analytical when it needs to be, just like not being like, oh yeah, I would like to do, and then like, you know, not following through. So I think these are skills like you can apply that can be full, even if it's not something like this. But this, I mean, I think anyway, all your experiences, whatever is work or not, like ends up in project like comics, because it's just like something that is really personal usually. So
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Because I find, because when I look back, I think about work, and like you, I'm not like my work was in no way, well,
yeah,
it was
something
creative
artistic.
because it was
Yeah.
like people were literally creating things. So, but it wasn't, artistic in that way. It wasn't that. So, but it's funny to look back and how much of what I was doing then, I'm essentially doing now, and not just creating the work, but like managing the work. And it's it's one of those things. Like when you're going forward, you're like, oh, I don't know how this matches up, and I'm not sure if this is the right thing. But when you look back, it's like, oh yeah, that with that, and then I got there, and
Absolutely.
it's wild. And in terms of like inspiration, because you know, and particularly like Greg, you mentioned like the inspiration behind like your work, and Lucia, like the themes behind yours. But when it comes to like, not necessarily, I was going to say direct inspiration, but you know, sometimes like you read things or you watch things and you think, oh, I like how they did that scene or that kind of thing. Do you guys get those moments with the things that you consume story wise?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Are you
Yeah, I mean,
watching anything now? Or?
I read a lot of comics. I read a lot of manga. I don't watch that many anime, but like I'm more a manga person, so I'm just reading a lot. And like, yeah, if I see maybe like a paneling that I like or something, I just like either save it if it's online, or just like take a picture just to have a folder with inspirations. And as well, like I'm just trying to save all the things that can be good, like there can be something that, you know, when you're totally blank, that you don't know what to do, just having like some folders and something that you can check as well. Also for something that I would like to be more good at is just like also using limited color palettes for the paneling and the stuff.
Limited.
So yeah, not using just like full colors or black and white, just like maybe 2 or 3 colors and do things like that. Right. So especially like,
why is that?
I don't know. I know that there is some, I mean, I think it's especially in comics, and you have a lot of that. So I'm really gravitating towards this kind of stuff and styles. So I'm just like, you know, trying to have my own folders and like, okay, I want to do this, and just try to see if there is like a color palette that I can use as well, just like fit the moods. Like I think the best maybe that I can do that I did is just like with this comic that I did, like it's still black and white, but I used also a bit of pink in like in certain scenes. So yeah, I mean, I like exactly. I think like I'm not really. I mean, I really like black and white, so I'm just using black and white most of the time. But this one is more like brownish, more than total black and total white. And I think like the fact of using like the pink, it's something different. It's something that really helps you also highlight the important bits when I want your eyes to focus on.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that comes to like a almost like a design thing as well, because
yeah.
you think colors and you think, oh, just gonna use all the colors, but then like you described, you can play with like the theme, tone, like mood
Absolutely.
in that using the colors. That's why I like comics and like just visual mediums, because
Yeah.
it makes you think about how just as humans how we react to things, and then once you're
Absolutely.
on the queer side, you start thinking about that. Like when I watch things, I'm like, oh, okay, that I feel a certain way, and I like how they've done
Yeah.
that. Is there some way I can use that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think sometimes it's sort of subconscious, like some certain things like influence you in your life, and you sort of don't, you suddenly remember, oh, I really like that. Like as a child, like a lot of my stuff is very much inspired by the 80s and 90s. My comic is set in 97 on
Good
Earth,
year.
and that's kind of
Good
like
year.
for me, I always say it's the best year in music. Like that's when I sort of started really getting into music,
Okay.
and particularly sort
Yeah.
of like heavy metal. This was like one of the first heavy metal CDs I ever bought.
Yeah.
Again, 97.
Oh wow.
Uh, just
So
like
I just had to
super.
take a moment of a CD.
Yeah,
to
man. Like, yeah,
to a
Yeah.
CD.
CD
The good
player and
old
everything.
days,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, I'm all for CDs and vinyl, man.
honestly.
And just sort of like, yeah, that sort of hugely inspired my comic, which is sort of very, very neon, sort of almost the antithesis in some ways of kind of limited color. It's like almost like the
Mm-hmm.
opposite, to the point where it's sort of like really hugely like
Yeah.
bright.
Mm.
And kind of yeah, I mean the 80s is kind of like I don't know what it is about it. It's sort of like very cheesy but also sort of quite inspiring as well somehow. I don't know
Yeah.
why.
It's quite
um
I don't know what the word cheesy, but like in a
it
wholesome
kind of it
way.
fills
Yeah,
your heart,
exactly.
it fills your
Yeah,
heart, you
yeah.
feel good from it, like
Like a
the
Mm-hmm.
80s
genuine
kind of like
cheesy.
Yeah.
you're like, oh,
Yeah.
this is cool. I don't know why it feels quite nice. It's kind of
Yeah.
like a safety
Mm-hmm.
blanket. But like, yeah, but I mean, in terms of like, I mean, this is obviously an Akira reference, 100%.
Yep. Yeah.
That
Yes.
that for me, I saw that when I was like, must have been 13 or 12 or something. And I
Mm.
was like, wow, like
Yeah.
mind
That's your
blown
yeah.
moment. Like, wow, this looks real, So,
Mm.
yeah, so that and just sort of like, sort of even just like silly things like so my partner got me this for my birthday just being but so this is
Yeah.
a guitar from
Sorry.
Metallica. So in
Cool.
97 I saw Metallica on top of the Pops and one of the
That's
guitarists
so
had
crazy.
this guitar and I was like this is basically an old school poster that he kind of put onto his guitar and I was like oh that's so cool. So
Nice.
even just like the red and the red and the kind of like
Yeah.
orange is a huge sort of influence for me as well. Like just those sort of bright
Mm.
colors.
And what's the because you both described like your work is very much personal to you, like experiences or themes that resonate with you. How do you do that but still make a comic that is essentially for other people, right? Because you go to conventions, you want to sell your
Mm-hmm.
work. How do you bridge that gap? Or is it a gap? Like, do you? Yeah.
No, honestly, I know there are many people that do like autobiographical comics, so just like saying the things how they are, like saying drawing their experiences through certain topics,
Mm.
which is something that I really appreciate, but it's not something that I would like to do. Maybe because I don't think that maybe I have maybe I don't know this super in engaging experiences or just like things that could be interesting. So I
Okay.
think they are personal in a way that is just like it's my feelings. It's something that I want to talk about and just like I love and I care.
Mm.
But and I translate them like in my characters. But sometimes maybe after I write the story or just put the things and I'm like okay, so yeah, that thing I put it there just because it was something that resonated with me or just like something that I wish I had experienced or something that I experienced. So yeah, I mean I don't think it's just like something that I do consciously all the times,
Okay.
but it's just like especially like when you because I am bisexual, so like telling stories about queer people, it's important to me, and just like maybe also having bisexual characters in the stories. So yeah, it doesn't have specifically to be me or something that I have experienced, but I can relate and I can tell things because it's something that is important to me. So it's just like,
Right.
I don't know if it makes sense.
Okay, so do you find like by putting your personal experiences, your connection with others that have the shared
Yeah.
experiences and things like that?
As well, yeah. And especially, yeah, at the end of the day, especially in the queer community, I think we all want to see more queer stories. So when someone that is queer just like come in a convention and find, I mean, someone, especially also sapphic stories, that is not something that is very mainstream. You have more like boys' loves and this kind of stuff, but sapphic is still like underappreciated. So I think, yeah, it's kind of a niche, and people when they see it, they're like, oh, okay, yeah, finally, more stories about girls in love. So I think it's an instant win because it's just like people are really desperate to see more and to read more about that. So
Okay. Yeah, and like, is that similar for you, Greg, in terms of like your themes? Do you think more about the people reading, or is it just like you're putting your experience out there? How do you balance that?
It's a tricky one because you're kind of pulling on sort of the stories you want to tell because it's like very personal and stuff. It's only kind of recently I started doing sort of like little 4-panel sort of little mini comics on social media, and I was like, well, I could just put stuff out that I want, but I feel like I need to kind of tap into things that people relate to. So I did like an animated one today where it's like back in '97, you didn't have like loads of mobile phones at gigs. You could just go to the gig and they'd be like, you'd be able to watch it. Whereas versus now, it's just a bunch of people doing this. I'm guilty of it as well. Like I'm like, oh, it's my favorite track. I need to film. So we're all guilty of it, but it's just like little. That's kind of where I'm starting to go like, oh, okay, things that people relate to, a good thing because then they're like, oh yeah, I remember that. Oh, it's so annoying how it is now, and having that relatability, I think, can help kind of get that connection again with people. Whereas if you're telling a very personal story, it's sort of like, well, it's for you, and if other people like it, great. But a lot of the time, it's a lot of time it's for you. But my story is sort of like I try to add a fair bit of humor in there. Like I have a bit of a silly sense of humor, so hopefully people kind of appreciate that.
Yeah.
At
least the jokes will get them, if nothing else.
But it's so funny because well, basically what my partner's friend, she had her daughter, so my partner's friend got the joke, but then her daughter's like, because obviously it's different generations. She's like,
right.
You know what I mean?
So
I have to think about that.
Yeah.
So it's like,
I love those.
So that was good bit of feedback. I was like, that's good feedback. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and we're almost out of time. But before we end with the bonus round, I just want to take a question from the chat because Neo Spites asks, which I think is a unfair question when people ask me. So I'm going to ask it of you. What is your favorite or best comic that you've made so far?
Oh.
It's a hard one.
Yeah.
I'll let you go first.
It's like, because it's like when you ask parents, like, which is your favorite
I know,
child?
right? Like, who is your favorite child?
Which
I mean,
I suspect parents do have a favorite child. They just don't want to say.
I know, right?
But,
Yeah.
So,
I don't know. I mean, I feel they are all different. I mean, so far, I just like self-published like 2 comics, like, and then one it was an anthology, so I did 1 short comic, and there is 2 friends that collaborated with me. Probably, I mean, the one that I'm, as I say, I don't want to pick favorites to my child, but like honestly, like the first one that I published is this one that is called Midnight Heart, and this one is 100% me. Like I did everything from the story, from everything, drawing, creating everything. So it has a special place in my heart because it's the first one, because it's 100% me, and that's it. The others, I mean, this one is the one that I collaborated with an artist. With an artist, with a writer. And it was a writer from the US. And the last one that I did is the anthology that is two friends. So it's just like people that I know for ages, to Atlantis Vampire and Audrey Molinatti, and they are two comic artists. One is from Italy and one is from France, so it's an international one. But yeah, I mean, it's difficult to pick favorites. So, but if I have to choose one, probably it would be Midnight Heart.
Yeah, okay, all right. Greg, do you want to have a go at that?
Yeah,
pick a favorite.
I mean, Lucia has a bit more experience than me in terms of comic creating, so I've done two, but it's kind of an ongoing story.
Flip a coin, then.
So, well, basically, probably my latest one, because just the sheer amount of work, because there's like 81 panels in this, and it's just like a stupendous amount of work. Just to because I wasn't used to kind of doing so much detail, because I do like quite a bit of detail, like almost like proper illustration with mine. Whereas my previous one was sort of like, it was almost like one panel per page, if you know what I mean. Like one panel per page. So this has actually got like proper paneling, and took me like the longest time to make. Also because obviously, you know, they're both augmented. I don't know if it'll work. It may not work because of the lights, but yeah, you get the idea that it kind of animates and stuff. But there's like more work that probably went into the animation on this as well than the last one. So I would say that one. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to the WIP to go full circle. I'm really looking forward to the WIP Anthology entry this year, because that's like a pirate story, and I absolutely love pirates. And so I can't wait to actually make that next year, is when I'm going to actually release that with my own thing, if you know what I mean. So I'm looking forward to that.
Okay. All right, cool. So, like I said, we're almost out of time, but we do this thing. I like to do this thing where we end on a bonus round. So it's a quick-ish fire round of questions.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Yeah, that I never prepare people for, because it's better that way. And it comes from my thinking, like storytelling kind of maps quite nicely onto like real life, because in a way we're all like lead characters in our own story. So what I like to ask people is, like, as the lead character in your story, and we can do it with both, like the verse in this quickish fire round is, how would you describe yourself as the protagonist of your relative stories?
Of my life or of my stories?
Yeah. Not of your,
Of my life? Oh my God.
Yeah, it gets quite introspective from here. I should have said that in the prep.
How do I describe myself? I don't know. I'm a dreamer.
Okay, we'll take that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. How about you, Greg?
I've had a bit of time to think about mine.
Yeah.
As a 80s neon rock star who's desperately trying to save his hair, I would say. He's like losing his hair, and he's like, my hair, you know, from actually making all this stuff, you know, it's like, you know.
Yeah, I
that's my description, I would say. Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, and then we'll start with Greg with this one, and we'll go back and forth.
Yeah. So I have time to prepare mine.
Yeah, you can prepare
we'll make it fair. We'll make it fair.
Thanks.
So you got your protagonist, but in a story you've got your antagonist, or your forces of antagonism. So then, what is the main challenge in your story, and how do you work to overcome it?
I think the main challenge for me would be consistency. So trying to consistently put yourself out there, which I haven't been great at. A lot of the time I tend to work in a silo and just like, right, okay, it's done now, versus actually being like, hey, this is me, this is what I'm working on, etc., etc. So I think consistency is my nemesis, I would say.
Okay. Alicia?
So an antagonist maybe I don't.
Yeah. Or forces of antagonists, like usually the bad guy who's the enemy
in my life.
Yeah.
Because I mean, the first thing that I thought of is just like fascism and all the things that are going in the world at the moment.
That's good. That's a good pick. Yeah, that's a good pick.
AI is another good one, I think.
Exactly, AI and all the
okay,
collapsing of society. That's
the slow end stage capitalism is our collective antagonism.
These are my biggest antagonists, I think.
I feel that. Okay. All right, we'll start with Lucia on this. Is who are the biggest supporting characters on your journey? Because you always got those like side characters that help the protagonist.
Well, definitely my partner, for sure.
Okay.
And all the people in the comic community that I know, the guys of WIP Comic, but also my other comic friends that they are definitely, and also the friends that I know from ages, from online, from other communities that from anime or manga that we keep in touch, and even if we don't hear each other every day, I mean, whenever I do something, they are always very supportive. So I'm happy to have people that care about my work.
Cool.
Because at the end of the day, it's as we said, it's very isolating. So it's cool to know that someone is on your corner when you need it.
Okay. All right, Greg.
For me, my partner, obviously, who I call her my art director. Because she has such an incredible. I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't say that. She's probably watching right now. But she has such an incredible eye for detail. So I will finish with me like, that's done now. She's like, well, it just doesn't look right. I'm like, no, it's fine. It's like, so she has an incredible eye for detail, which is really helpful when you're so close to something. So her, my friends, my dad. Mainly sort of my rock and metal friends, shout out to them, because I didn't realize this, but sort of like there's a few kind of comic fans in there, and I'm surprised at how many actually bought my comic. I was like, really? You want to buy my comic? Like, I'll buy your comic. It looks great,
It's like the ones you least suspect.
I know, right?
Exactly, I was just like, really? You want to buy this? Really? It's like sort of like kind of like strange. So so my friends and stuff, all my metal and rock friends.
Okay.
And man, just like anyone else who's ever liked anything or commented or whatever, man.
Nice.
It's like
that as well. Yeah.
Okay.
All the people
like
them. I think the people that you don't know personally and just like comment online. It's the one that got you the most. You're like, oh my god, because sometimes the friends, you're like, oh yeah, you say that it's nice because you're my friends or because you're my partner.
But when it's you don't know.
But when it's someone that you don't know and they come say I like your work and come back, that is just like, okay, so
I get that.
It's good.
Okay, that's cool.
People at fairs, like what we mentioned before, people at fairs who come back.
Exactly, those people.
Okay. It's feeling like a Oscars acceptance speech, it's like my agent, my agent, and the producer, could have done it. All right, final question. We'll wait. Who did? I forgot. I'm losing track now. All right, whoever wants to go first on this, but
Greg time.
So I feel, that the good stories have like the protagonist is after something. So they're going towards some kind of end, some kind of goal, some kind of direction. So for you both, where does I'm gonna have to rephrase this question because it can sound quite morbid. Where does the journey end? What does success look like for you? That's the positive way to say it. What does success look like for you in your story?
For me, it's a case of like if I've inspired someone to try and do something that's outside of like their day-to-day work that they get paid for. If I've inspired someone, then I've succeeded, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, that and just kind of legacy, I suppose you could say, is like that's a word that a lot of people it's sort of like, what is your legacy? So if I've influenced someone or inspired someone, that to me I think is more valuable than like, oh, how much I've got in my bank account from doing my passion or whatever it is.
Sure.
It's sort of inspiring. So for example, if I've inspired someone to make their own comic or make their own film or whatever it is, that's just like mind-blowing because you've had you've kind of had that direct impact on the universe somehow, in my opinion anyway.
No, absolutely, I agree. I think it's you don't do these kind of things for the money, honestly, because especially living in London, there's no way you can sustain yourself to do that full time. So you do it like because you love it, and if you know that someone has been inspired or you touch the heart of someone, and just like someone maybe start to do something because saw your things and they were like, oh, she's doing things, so I can do it as well, and they do it. That's the best thing, honestly. And I think that's the success, because monetary success is just like not really anything. It's just like being able
You needed to survive. You needed to survive. That's basically all it is, isn't it?
Yeah. If
Exactly,
anyone does
yeah.
have any money they'd like to send to us, please do. Don't let.
No, yeah, of course. You have them. So it's good.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
But yeah, no, honestly.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also
That's the nice
community
answer, but in reality,
Yeah,
we're all
yeah.
sort of starving artists almost, aren't we, in some ways? So,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I think that's it. It's sort of like
We're our
people
own worst
inspire people,
enemies.
great.
But, yeah. No, that's cool. Okay. No, that's it. We reached the end of our joint collaborative conversation. So
Do you
yeah,
have any
Greg.
questions from your chat, or you've not got the time?
No, we're gonna cut. But if you have any questions, we can. If anyone in the chat has any questions, or in future, because we have a Discord, or you can connect with Greg and Lucia online as well. But I like to do the hard cut. For this.
Yeah.
If this was the podcast, we'd keep talking and I'd edit
We could stay
it
here
down.
for ages, honestly. It's been lovely.
But yeah, no, I appreciate you both for taking the time, spending your evening.
Thank you for
here
inviting
and-
us, honestly.
Thank you for inviting.
No problem. And just like I said, it's sort of WIP takeover, so getting to hear about the people
exactly.
behind the book as well.
I just only want to say that, yeah, if anyone wants to join WIP Comic, is always like open to anyone. So you just have to, you can go to the Instagram, like searching WIP Comic and just like asking for the Discord invite. And you can join. Maybe, you missed this anthology, but maybe next year you can be part of the anthology. And it's always a good way to start, honestly.
There you
So
go.
I would recommend.
So
especially like people that never started and never did.
Yeah.
So
We're a very friendly bunch, as you can see.
exactly.
Yeah. Cool. So yeah, shout out to WIP Comics. I also have to give a shout out to Pro Gamers Group UK, who provide us with different. You can't see there's a mic here just out of shot, but they support us with different events and live streams with microphones, cameras, lighting as well. This chair that I'm sitting on. So Streamplify products, Nigel concept chairs, and yeah, we use them for our live streams, our events, our workshops. We introduced a bunch of kids over. Had some interesting podcast. Won't go into that, but interesting podcast ideas from young people getting to grips with like the equipment there. But yeah, the contribution helps because it helps us create better experiences.
Absolutely.
And like I said, introduce some young, interesting, creative minds. I'll put it like that. Get to grips with content creation as well. So yeah, thank you to them, and yeah, thank you to people watching now or later. If we do an audio, put the audio on our podcast, you can check out our podcast. I always say if people aren't put off by my voice after listening to an hour, try listening for 2, because our podcast, we do different deep dives, we do interviews, and yeah, they are I don't know, some people do like 3-hour podcasts, but yeah, ours are decent size. But you can check that out with myself. We 2 is the max. But yeah, you can check that out. It's on all the places that you get your podcast from, Story X Story. But we're also here on Twitch and YouTube, so follow us here so you can catch the next live stream. We do this live stream, we do games live streams, we do other random bits in the middle. But that's the show for tonight. Hope you all enjoy the rest of your evenings, or if you're listening to a different time zone day, wherever you are, enjoy the rest of your day. That's been us. That's another episode of Casual Conversations with Comic Creators, and we will see you again next month. Take care, everyone.